6 American soldiers came home this weekend in flag-draped coffins, and the man who sent them there called it, on live television, a detour. That word alone tells you everything about where this war is headed, and why the world you woke up in today is not the same one from a week ago. Black rain fell on Tehran, literal black rain. Oil-soaked clouds from burning refineries blocking out the sun over a city of 9 million people. Sewage lines on fire, streets flooded with burning crude. And in Washington, Trump picked up the phone, called ABC News and said, I am quoting him directly, "I am not worried about anything at all. If you are not already subscribed, do it now. This conflict is moving faster than any single outlet can track. I am breaking it down every single day, and you need to be here when the next piece drops." Now let me show you the 3 moments from this weekend that tell you exactly how out of control this has become. But first, let's back up. Because the speed of this war has buried the sequence of events that actually explain it. The US and Israel began striking Iran, military targets first, then oil infrastructure, then according to independent reporting from Reuters, CNN, and the New York Times, an elementary school in southern Iran, over 170 people killed, dozens of them children. Iran accepted the first ceasefire, showed restraint, stopped firing when the strikes stopped. Then the strikes started again. Hospitals, refineries, freshwater desalination plants, the infrastructure that keeps people alive in a region where clean water matters more than oil. And this time, Iran looked at the ceasefire it had honored before, looked at what came after that ceasefire, and made a different decision. Iran said no. That single word is now reshaping this entire conflict, because Washington's entire plan was built on one assumption, that Iran would eventually break under the pressure, that the regime would crack, that they would fold. Instead, Iran is fighting back. Ballistic missiles, Shahed drones, cluster munitions hitting Tel Aviv, retaliatory strikes on Bahrain's desalination plants, mirroring exactly what was done to them, and the United States has no exit strategy. Here is a question for you. If someone attacked you, you showed restraint, accepted peace, and then they attacked you again, how many times would you keep offering that handshake? Drop your answer in the comments, because that is the exact calculation Iran just made on American television, and it changes everything. Receipt 1. The ABC interview. Trump calls ABC News. Reporter Mary Bruce asks him the basic questions every wartime president must be ready for. Are you worried about Americans at home? About retaliation? About gas prices? Grocery bills? The families being hit by this economically? His answer, word for word, I am not worried about anything at all. It is a little glitch. We had to take this detour. A detour. 6 soldiers dead. The Strait of Hormuz shut down for the first time in 80 years. The Middle East burning from end to end. And the president calls it a detour. Then in the same call, he says everything is on the table. Ground forces, special operations inside Iran to seize enriched uranium. And then he says this, if Iran picks its next supreme leader without consulting him personally, the new one will not last long. He wants to choose the leader of a sovereign nation of 90 million people. That is not strength. That is someone who has confused confidence with a plan. Receipt 2. Lindsey Graham. Trump sends Senator Lindsey Graham onto the morning shows. What follows is one of the most alarming pieces of television from this entire conflict. Graham walks on camera, wearing a hat that says Free Cuba, and another that says Make Iran Great. And then he says live, during an active war, we are marching through the world. We are cleaning out the bad guys. Iran is going down and Cuba is next. Let that sit. A sitting United States senator, during a war that has already killed American service members, is pitching the next war before this one is anywhere close to over. He calls Trump the greatest commander-in-chief of all time. He tells Arab allies, countries whose water supply is being destroyed in this crossfire, if you want a treaty with the US, get in this fight. That is not diplomacy. That is a threat with a merchandise table attached to it. And the fact that Graham pitches military expansion by handing Trump branded hats tells you everything about who is actually driving strategy here. Nobody is. Receipt 3. The Fox News swap. This one is quieter, but it might be the most telling. During the dignified transfer at Dover Air Force Base, where 6 American service members came home, Trump attended wearing his $55 campaign hat, the same hat currently for sale on his website. Fox News aired the ceremony. except they did not air the actual ceremony. They ran footage from a previous dignified transfer from Trump's first term, where he was not wearing the campaign hat. They got caught. They issued an on-air correction, calling it an inadvertent error. But ask yourself, when has Fox News ever accidentally made the president look more dignified? The names of those 6 Americans deserve to be spoken plainly, without a sales pitch in the frame. Captain Cody Cork, Sergeant First Class Nicole Moore, Sergeant First Class Noah Tenz, Sergeant Declan Cody, Major Jeffrey O'Brien, Chief Warrant Officer Robert Marsison, every one of them a hero, not one of them a prop. Now here is the part most people are completely missing. While Trump and Graham are projecting invincibility on American TV, Iran's foreign minister went on Meet the Press and did something the White House clearly did not prepare for. He was calm, calculated, and he said this: "Last time you attacked us, we accepted the ceasefire honestly. You used that pause to rearm and hit us again. You bombed our schools, our hospitals, our water. So no, we are not accepting another ceasefire. There should be a permanent end to the war. Until then, we will keep fighting." That is not emotion. That is a negotiating position, built on watching what happened the last time Iran showed restraint. Iran has made a strategic decision: absorb the punishment, keep firing, make this war expensive enough, long enough, that the pressure eventually shifts back to Washington. The evidence says it is already working. The Strait of Hormuz, through which 20% of the world's oil flows, is effectively shut down. Kuwait's petroleum chief says tanker traffic has dropped to nearly zero. Iraqi oil output is down 60%. Qatar has shut liquefied natural gas production. Iran struck Kuwait's social security building, hit Bahrain's desalination plants. And the UAE, despite Israeli officials claiming Abu Dhabi helped strike Iran, issued a furious public denial, calling those statements damaging to the relationship. So what does this mean for you personally? If you fill up a car, you will feel this. If you buy groceries, you will feel this. If you have a retirement account, you will feel this. Analysts project food, energy, airline and transport costs could push consumer price inflation above 4% by April or May. And once supply chains reroute around a closed Hormuz, those changes do not reverse just because a ceasefire gets signed later. The jobs follow the new routes. They do not come back. 3 realistic scenarios from here. None of them are clean. Scenario 1, a managed off-ramp, back-channel pressure from Gulf states and European allies forces a real ceasefire. Trump calls it the greatest deal ever made. Iran says it stood firm. Hormuz reopens. Markets stabilize. But the Gulf states that watched their water and oil infrastructure burn will never trust this security arrangement the same way again. Scenario 2, regional realignment. The countries watching all of this, Kuwait, UAE, Bahrain, start quietly hedging. Deeper ties with China, India, anyone not currently bombing their neighbors. The US remains the biggest player in the room, but stops being the unquestioned center. That kind of loyalty fracture does not reassemble. Scenario 3, full escalation, ground forces, special operations inside Iran, regime change attempted in a country of 90 million people with hardened military infrastructure, Cuba added to the list, allies forced to pick sides. The global economy splits, and the war that started as a little glitch becomes the defining catastrophe of a generation. Here is what I know for certain. Whatever comes next, the architecture that held the Middle East together for the last several decades is not going back to what it was. Even if Trump reversed course tomorrow, the lesson has already been absorbed by Iran, by the Gulf states, by every mid-sized power watching this play out. The lesson is simple: never put all your strategic trust in one arrangement, because that arrangement might get handed to someone who wears a campaign hat to a funeral and calls a regional war a Canadian. The Iran White House tolkal do guarantabin sidlo to Fersment Bracekikfor. Trump did not build an exit strategy. He built a merchandise line. Graham did not present a military doctrine. He presented a world tour with a gift shop at every stop. So I will leave you with 3 questions. Did Trump break the Middle East? Or did the Middle East simply stop pretending the old arrangement still worked? Is Iran's refusal to accept another ceasefire smart strategy, or a dangerous bet that could consume the entire region? And when a US senator says we are marching through the world, does anyone in Washington actually know where that march ends? Drop your real answer in the comments. I read every one. Subscribe now. The Hormuz standoff, the ground forces decision, the Gulf realignment, the inflation shock hitting your grocery bill. All of it is coming fast. This story is not slowing down. Do not look away. This content is commentary and analysis for informational purposes only. It does not constitute financial, legal, or geopolitical advice.